bank offers us many services. And like Mr. Frank Adams, most of us use the bank. The bank is a good place to keep money. And here is Mr. Adams filling out a deposit slip.
Millions of shares were suddenly sold. The next day, the great crash of 1929 began.
The cash, the check, the deposit slip, and his bank book to the savings window. Into the bank book, she punches the amount of his deposit and the new balance, which is the total.
With easy credit and more disposable income, Americans were now looking for new ways to get even richer.
So, one March, deposit of $50. As he made regular deposits from his earnings, his balance grew. But his balance actually became greater than the sum of all his deposits. For, at the end of each 6 months interest period, the bank added interest to his balance, which therefore kept on growing.
Many people to become investors in securities for the first time. For the first time in their lives, they got interest payments every 6 months, and the security was something they could trade on the market, so they could look in the newspaper and see what the price of my bond is today.
The bank's careful methods give Mr. Adams confidence that his savings are secure. And so does the federal government's insurance guarantee. Part of the money that comes into a bank is kept in cash. But the rest of it must be put to work to earn a profit for the bank. And so, the bank invests much of its money. According to law, these investments must be safe investments, such as government bonds, municipal bonds, and mortgages. The bank also invests its customers' money in personal and business loans to reliable people.
Banks are more willing to loan, to make relatively small loans to individuals on no real collateral. That had never been done before. People, particularly Americans, have always been trying to get rich fast. The difference is that in the 1920s, it seemed like there were more ways than ever before to try to do that, and the stock market was one of those ways.
Oh, an additional $1,000 from us.
That's right.
In your letter here.
For 3 years with the Lewis Wholesale Hardware in Johnstown. And I have managed the appliance department in the King Hardware store here in Elmville.
I think we can make you this loan.
Oh, that's fine. Will the bank need security?
No, I don't think so. As you've a good reputation, we know you're reliable.
I'm glad you think so.
And the whole of America's economic activity followed this downward slope.
It really snowballs after 1929. More and more banks fail. If you have money in a bank and the bank fails, you've lost it all.
Hardware store. He is building up a prosperous business with the help of his bank loan and the money he has saved over the years in his savings account.
Mr. Adams finds his local bank very convenient. Not only because it can always give him all the small needs, but also because of its other services, such as his savings account, the loan which it gave him. Mr. Adams is a good customer of the bank. In return, the bank provides many services for him and for everyone who uses the bank.